Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Matchday Live from Molineux. We'll be back at the studio in just a moment, but Liverpool looking to continue a decent, recent, good run of form, and they're going to be getting very acquainted with this place over the next few days. Tuesday night here in the Premier League, then in 3 days' time, the Reds will look to book their place in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup by winning their 5th round tie here. Let's firstly bring you the Liverpool team news tonight before we speak to David Thompson. Just one change from the side that started the victory over West Ham on Saturday afternoon. As maybe we expected, it comes at right back. Jeremy Frimpong replaces Joe Gomez. Frimpong in to start his first Premier League game since Liverpool's defeat at Bournemouth at the end of January. So let's take you through the Liverpool team in full then. Alisson will start in goal after 3 successive clean sheets. He did concede a couple against West Ham at the weekend. That back four will be Frimpong, Virgil van Dijk the captain, alongside Ibrahima Konate, who scored in Liverpool's 2-1 win here at Molineux last season, and Milos Kerkez keeps his place at left back. Just in front of that, Ryan Gravenberch, who also got a goal in this fixture last season, alongside Alexis McAllister, who after that winner against Nottingham Forest and the goal against West Ham could score in 3 consecutive Liverpool games for the first time in his career. Ahead of that, Mo Salah. 212 players have scored in the Premier League since the last time Salah got one in this competition. Him on one side, Cody Gakpo on the other, with Dominic Szoboszlai just behind Ugo Ekitike. The Liverpool David Thompson is alongside me. As I just touched on there, no great surprise that there's been a little tweak at right back, you would say.
No, absolutely, and I think he brings a real attacking quality, doesn't Frimpong? Got great technique, and when he gets you in that one-on-one situation, I think he puts some really good quality crosses in. So it's nice to see him actually in the team, and I think it's going to, you just mentioned Mo Salah there, and a lot of players have scored since he last scored. I think it'll free him up tonight to come inside, and you'll see more touches in the box from him tonight.
Arne Slot will just be hoping on hope that one right back can just stay fit between now and the end of the season, won't he?
Wouldn't it be lovely? Yeah, it's been a problem area this season, but yeah, we've had numerous people having a go. But it's nice to see that Jeremy's back today and see what he can bring. I mean, it's up to him now. We're coming to the business end of the season. If he wants to keep that shirt and show what he can do and start to form that relationship with Mo Salah till the end of the season, because we definitely need players of his quality fit.
You would say part of the selection tonight is keeping care of Joe Gomez, that he played 77 minutes before being substituted at the weekend. Do you think that if they both do stay fit, it'll be a case sometimes of horses for courses, that games like tonight where you'd expect Liverpool to have loads of the ball, Frimpong will play, there might be the odd, hopefully, latter stages of a Champions League tricky away tie where Gomez might be the better option?
Yeah, I think the gaffer will like that. That's what you want, competition for places, and also being able to share the load a little bit, and also bring in various qualities that are going to suit the opposition. Tonight, that is, Frimpong brings them qualities. He'll be getting a lot of ball in wide areas. How he uses that with Salah and how he forms that relationship. He brings speed, unbelievable blistering pace, and once he stands you up in that one-on-one situation, he can get his cross in. So I'm hoping we can put lots of crosses in the box today. I think what I've noticed over the last few weeks is how we're getting the midfielders into the box now, sort of unshackling them a little bit and encouraging them to go into the box and get them second balls. And, McAllister scored a couple of goals now from picking up second balls and rebounds in the box and loose knockdowns, and that's what we need.
The point about the right back over the course of the season is it's not just frustrating for the players who've had the injuries, whether it be Frimpong, Connor Bradley, but it's also not easy in particular for Ibrahima Konate, who plays on that side of the back four, to get any sort of understanding, particularly given that Frimpong is a new signing.
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, defenders and players will already have them relationships, and you sort of know where the positions on the pitch where you need to be. A lot of our problems this year, a lot of our problems have been from at the front, where we've not closed down quick enough, we've let teams out, we've been a little bit lazy in our closing down, and all of a sudden you've got teams running at your midfield, and we've only got a two-man midfield, and that's stretched, so then that creates a bit of space, and then all of a sudden the back four has to retreat. That's where the problems come. I've seen a lot of players attack, or pundits attack Van Dijk's performances this season, just because he's made a few uncharacteristic mistakes, and you're going to make them mistakes when your team's completely unbalanced like we've been this season.
What about Mo Salah then? As I said, it is a long time, his longest ever drought without a goal in the Premier League. That the manager, as you would expect, his default setting is relaxed, but he said, look, it'll happen at some point. But is there anything in Salah's performances in particular that would concern you, or think that's the reason why he's not scoring his usual number of goals?
Not really. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, last season he kept his width, but still managed to score an unbelievable amount of goals, and was involved in the games, and he was involved in assists. But, you know, this season he's tried to keep his width at times, and he hasn't even looked threatening. He'd looked, a little bit off with his striking of the ball. I don't know whether he's been, the gaffer mentioned it in the press conference yesterday, he's been overthinking it, and you can get like that at times, but I think today we're playing with Frimpong. Frimpong can occupy that space down the right hand side and allow Salah to come inside and get more touches in the box, because there's nothing better than when Salah's running and you're in the box. He's going to stand you up and he's get that shot at goal, and once he starts getting a couple of that's what I want to see. I want to see more shots at goal from Mo Salah, get in them positions to have the shot at goal.
The man just to your left is very popular, Stephen Gerrard, who is here with the telly as well tonight, getting a good few calls from around Molineux, but no goal for Mo Salah on Saturday, but still a 5-star display for Liverpool. It was a set-piece special against West Ham.
Anfield bathed in sunshine, but West Ham United are resurgent right now. They're desperate to save themselves from the drop, but Ugo Ekitike and co have goals in their sights. Ryan Gravenberch got a bang, but he still manages to move the ball on, and the strike is in! Liverpool score early! Nathan Liverpool again. Bit more flight from Szoboszlai leads to a second Liverpool goal. Virgil van Dijk on target. Salah takes. This comes through to Ekitike. Oh yes! Alexi McAllister on target for the second week running. Cross comes now. Konate only half away. This is Samuel, brilliant ball, goal. Thomas Souček right at the start of the second half. Sharp beat by Ekitike. This is Cody Gakpo. And that's going to squeeze in. Big goal for Liverpool. There's the ball right across, and Alisson tries to claw it out and he can't. And maybe, just maybe, this one isn't over for West Ham. But it's going to come to Jeremy Frimpong. Is this Liverpool's moment? It is! Frimpong's back with a bang! And Liverpool are right up on the shoulders of those in the top four.
Well, it has been a big topic of conversation right around the Premier League over the course of the last few days. All three of Liverpool's first half goals coming from corners in that game against West Ham. We saw, well, not far away from wrestling matches at the Emirates in the game between Arsenal and Chelsea. The manager then saying yesterday he maybe doesn't enjoy watching the product quite as much the way it's become. Michael Carrick, the Manchester United manager, today saying there's too much, it's gone too far, teams take too long. What would your overall assessment be of the way that set pieces seem to be dominating the league this year?
I agree from that sense, particularly watching Arsenal, how long they do take on getting the ball back into play, particularly if they're winning, to take a set piece. So from that point of view, it is frustrating, but you think you have to look at the time it takes with VAR as well. They're taking this thing out the game, the excitement out the game, and then you look at the managers that have come here and tried to be too technical and slow the game down. The amount of players I watch now, and they're putting the foot on the ball, they're rolling it down, and teams are getting back behind the ball. I mean, what do you expect? Set plays are a useful asset. They're there for you to break down low blocks, and that's how you do. You keep battering the door down with set plays, get the ball in there and see what happens with second balls. But I have to say, it is a little bit boring at times, but then it's up to the managers to create that momentum and put the intensity in there, get players forward, get passing the ball quick, and I want to see that tonight. If we pass the ball quickly tonight and get midfielders into the box, we're going to win the game. And if we defend set pieces, we need to defend set pieces, because they caused us a few problems last time they came to Anfield, and also last time we played, I think it was in 2024 here. They're dangerous from set plays. We're going to have to just, be up against that and stop moaning and speed it up a little bit. We're the ones in charge, aren't we?
It's interesting because I'm not sure he was moaning more, making a general assessment on what he was watching.
Yes,
but
he was asked about
interestingly, despite the fact they're bottom of the table, Wolves have conceded the fewest goals from set pieces this season. But Liverpool have changed their set piece coach as well over the course of this season, and it's almost, you wonder whether he's thought, the manager, if you can't beat him, join him. And he'd love to play loads of fluid football, but if set pieces are so important, let's be good at them as well.
Well, they're a large part of the game. There's no getting away from that. You know, look, Arsenal have used it. It's the data revolution that's caused this problem. Also, you know, these teams that are now signing the big, strong, physical powerhouses because they can't afford the technical players like your Florian Wirtz. Who can afford to go and buy a Florian Wirtz to open up a low block? So they'd rather do it with a cheap, I don't know, £7-8 million, 6'4" lump from wherever. You know, that is the data revolution that's caused this change. You know, so and the financial money that's coming in here is forcing us to go and bring in the better players to do that. But not all teams can do that. They're blessed with like 450 million in the pot to go and blow on players.
You talked about breaking down a low block. The one thing you would say is that Liverpool have recent history of that being the desire, or that's what they've needed to do. It was like that at Forest, although Forest had their chances, and it was like that against West Ham at the weekend, and this will be another one that, even though Wolves are at home tonight, you would think they would say, as they did against Villa, come on then, try and break us down.
Yeah, I think they will. They'll try and play on the counter-attack. They did the same against Aston Villa, yeah, and they were quite effective at that. They've got a lot of pace on the break, and they've got a lot of pace on the bench. They've got some good quality players in here. We can't underestimate them. What Rob Edwards has done since he's come in. You're Rob Jones, yeah?
Yeah, I am, yeah,
yeah. What Rob Edwards has done since he's come in is he's managed to solidify them. You know, he's given him that foundation, but he also gives him that freedom to go and play. You know, go and enjoy yourself in 1v1 situations. Go and take that man on. If you run out of play, don't worry about it. It's taking the pressure off him. They're building for next year. It'd be impossible for them to get out this situation now. I think they're already relegated. But they're playing for pride, and they're playing for, you know, to impress the manager for next season. But he's got that connection back with the fans, and I think they deserved it because they're a good set of fans here.
Well, we will talk Wolves a little bit later on, but 4 changes made by Rob Edwards this evening from that win over Aston Villa on Friday night. Matt Doherty, Angel Gomez, Ladislav Krejci and David Molivol for the 4 that come into the team. But we'll go through the full details a little bit later on.
Thank you, gentlemen, and you will be very familiar with these surroundings by the tail end of the week as well. Just 72 hours that separate Liverpool's ambitions in 2 different competitions. 2 legends in the studio as well, in the form of Gary Gillespie and Jason McAteer. Big week, gentlemen, this. 3 games, 3 different competitions, and Liverpool's seemingly on a little bit of a crest of the wave at the moment, and this is the right time to put that run together.
Definitely the business end, isn't it? And a really good weekend considering Villa lost. Obviously Chelsea were beaten as well. So it just highlights the point of how important it was to take 3 points. The scoreline slightly flattered the performance, I must admit. But if we're going to focus on the positives, 4 different goal scorers, scored 3 goals from set pieces. The negative was probably conceding 2. But listen, it's all moving in the right direction, and as long as we can concentrate on what we've got to do and take 3 points, it adds a little bit of pressure on what's around us. We know Champions League football is vitally important, and what is it, 10 games to go? We're in a good position.
It was interesting listening to David James at the weekend, who said that he doesn't believe in momentum because you've won 3 games doesn't mean you've got to win the 4th one. But like I mentioned to Jason then, if we are to get some momentum, the business end, as he calls it, is definitely the right stage of the season to do it.
Well, he's a goalkeeper, isn't he? He's like, I mean, JMO always comes away with like some strange quotes, if you ask me. But there's no given right that just because you won 3 games, like you're obviously going to win the next 3. I think performances have not been fantastic in the last couple of games. I don't think anybody would deny that. The fact. We've got the results as the positive. Notts Forest performance wasn't fantastic. I don't think the performance against West Ham was like that outstanding, although we scored 5 goals. The one thing that you would say, and like it's a big debate at this moment in time, goals scored from set plays, which has been a real plus for us, because at the beginning of the season we weren't scoring goals from set plays. I think when you look back to last season, I think in the first half of like last season we scored an awful lot of goals from set plays, and in the second half we didn't. It's kind of like turned full circle this season where we're scoring goals from set plays in this period of the season, and as we've seen, it's a big part of like the Premier League and how like teams want to play. But I still think that that we have got that little bit of momentum. I think there's a little bit more belief about the team. The one thing that you would say is, with regards to strength and depth, looking at the bench, we're a little bit weaker than maybe what we were at the start of the season. But I think a lot of teams will find that as well. But starting 11, I think as strong as any team in the top 6 or the top half of the table.
It did make me laugh, JMO. I mean, I did pitch side with him with momentum, and you're right, definitely a keeper's comment. You know, momentum brings belief, it brings confidence, and you know, the more games you go unbeaten, you kind of, it breeds a resilience as well. You go out thinking, you know, well, we've got, you know, we're 3 unbeaten, we're 4 unbeaten, we're 5 unbeaten. Let's not be beaten 6. You know, like, you just keep going, and we've seen Liverpool go on, and Manchester City, all the great teams go on unbelievable runs, don't they? That's generated through momentum, and it's a big plus to have. You ask any team at the bottom, you know, if they generate a bit of momentum, it'll be that team that usually gets out of it. You know, Tottenham are in a little bit of trouble at the minute because they've got no momentum. They're on that slippy slope where you look at Liverpool, you know, and what we've got to do, and we've created momentum, is we've got to get into the Champions League positions, and we're winning games. Momentum creates belief and confidence.
I think when you look at it, I mean, like, is it 2 defeats in the last 21 games or something like that? I mean, that suggests that Liverpool, like, they're doing something right, albeit in like that spell in that period. We've drawn games where like probably should have won, and if we had won, would have been in a different position at this moment in time. But it's only 2 defeats in 21 games.
Yeah.
Did you spot how brave they both were having a go at JMO?
He's not here, that's why I said it.
Brave men indeed. Let's just remind you or tell you about the team news in case you're just tuning into us at the moment. And it is a team at the moment that kind of you would pick if you were down the pub with your mates, Frimpong for Gomez, and that probably will be the way it'll go over the next 3 games, and that they will have to share that load between them, the 2 right backs.
Yeah, the big talking point we've had lots this season is Szoboszlai obviously playing in that right back position because of his quality and versatility, and he's done a job for the team. But it does take away something from Liverpool's midfield. To have Frimpong back is a massive plus. And it was a shame when he got injured. It was very early on in the game, wasn't it? And he was just turning the mindset of, I think, of the fans and everyone around the club that we've actually, you know, we've seen his true quality. It's took him a while to settle in. But he was affecting games. Arsenal away, he was really effective, maybe a bit more confidence in the tank, and he might have taken on a couple of opportunities he created, but he showed glimpses of actually, you know, why he was brought to the football club, and he's grown in stature over that. And you know, he's been a bit of a handful when he's played either wide right or even a full back. It's great to have him back. Szoboszlai goes back in, but I think if you you know, threw Liverpool's squad out there, I think that's probably the team you would pick.
Different players, different personalities. I would have tended to go with Gomez myself, to be quite honest with you. I think,
tonight?
Yeah, I think give Frimpong a little bit more like time. I think if you want to share the workload between the 2 of them, I think Joe Gomez starting and Frimpong coming on gives you a little bit more than vice versa. With regards to like impact, like substitutes making an impact. I think Frimpong can make a bigger impact coming on as opposed to Joe Gomez. But I think we'll see this like throughout the course of like the last 10 games or so. Is it? I think there will be like, I think they'll share the workload between the 2 of them, because at this moment in time it looks as if like the 2 of them are like obviously a little bit injury prone. But yeah, certainly Frimpong is like an attacking, exciting player that we saw when he had that little run of games, that, you know, he does bring something extra and something different to that right-hand side of the pitch, and probably helps Mohamed Salah a little bit more in forward areas of the pitch. And so, yeah, we'll have to see how it all pans out.
Little Tomo called it the data revolution, didn't he, before? And it's probably the same in terms of players in the red zone at the moment. You know, there's that risk versus reward thing, but they don't have any wriggle room now, do they, Liverpool? Every single game is a priority. You even look at Friday, you know, there's a big desire to win that FA Cup this year before they go to a Champions League game.
Well, Champions League is thrown in the mix now as well, but this is where you want to be as a football club, isn't it, competing? And not just competing in one competition, you want to be competing across the board. And, you know, Liverpool, again, for the topsy-turvy season we've had, really, you know, it's still nice to be in 3 big competitions, and okay, it doesn't look like we're going to win the league, but we can certainly qualify for Champions League, set us up nicely for next season. The finances, we know, are so important by being involved in that. We're still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup at the weekend. It'll be interesting to see, Friday night, it'll be interesting to see what team he actually does pick, because again, you know, there's an importance to that now, you know, with us not challenging for the league title.
So you can't pick a hugely different team, really, can he, on Friday?
I think you'll see the majority of the bench tonight playing. I think Rio Ingamoa might get a run out, and you know,
throughout the course of the game.
Yeah. You know, but that's what you spend, you know, your money on. You create a squad that is adaptable to cope with these situations. Tomo's right. It's funny, really, because myself and Tomo have both done a masters, and we've heavily been involved in this data. There is a data revolution. It's a really fascinating topic to talk about. It's something that, you know, for us who have done this sport and directorship course, has kind of like made us think a little bit. You know, you want to keep this organic, holistic approach to football still, but the data is really taking over, and sometimes, you know, a lot of teams are just going with data rather than asking the player, "Are you all right? Do you want to play tonight?" Sometimes there's something in asking a player and saying, "Do you want to play tonight?" Even though you might be in the red zone, you might want to go, "Yeah." You might be really up for it, but that gets taken away by numbers. So there is this conflict going on at the minute. It is a really interesting subject, but that's where we are in the world of football.
Quick one on Hugo Ekitike as well, Gary. It was interesting speaking to him at the weekend. We'll hear the interview a little bit later on. He's 17 goals in all competitions now. He's furious with himself that he's not got more goals, and I know that is an ongoing discussion point, but again, he carries that goal threat, the realistic goal threat for Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, I think we've seen, like, he's led the line exceptionally well with the absence of Alexander-Arnold. There's a lot like expected of him when he came into the club, and he hasn't disappointed. He has delivered. I think his all-round general play has been good as well. It's not just the goals that we've seen. I think you know, like his ability to run at people and his combinations with other players as well, and especially Florian Wirtz. I know Florian Wirtz is obviously missing tonight. He missed the last couple of games. I think he misses him a little bit, but certainly, you know, where Mohamed Salah has obviously had a little bit of a drought in recent games, Ekitike, he's been the man to deliver the goals that maybe Salah obviously had scored in previous seasons.
We'll get into him in a bit more detail as we go throughout the preview to the game tonight. Let's get the thoughts first of the boss on this one. Here's Arne Slot with what he expects from Wolves tonight.
They've shown recently that they do much better, or getting more results from what they deserve, because I think throughout the whole season they've hardly been beaten by big goal differences. So that tells you that they're a competitive team throughout the whole season, and recently they pick up points and even a win against Villa. So we know that we again are going to face a difficult game.
I suppose it's quite an unusual situation playing against the same team twice in 3 days. What challenges does that provide for you as a manager, particularly with things like selection?
It's not unusual that we play 3 games in 7 days for us. That's probably the 4th or 5th time this season that we have to do this. Does it bring a challenge maybe for the second game a little bit more, because then you know even better what to expect? But that I also like, mainly that I like on Champions League, because the first time you play each other, mainly in Champions League, you don't play each other that much. So it's a bit new, but the second time you can prepare your team even better. Especially if the team does the same, the team you face does the same again. So, but now being in the Premier League, we played them already once. You see a lot of games of them because they play against teams that we are facing as well. You know each other that well that I don't see that much difference between playing each other twice in 3 days, or that there's a longer period in between.
You're really well positioned now in the race for the Champions League places, and we're coming into the final quarter of the season. How do you assess things? I mean, you said a few weeks ago the record would have to be almost perfect, and even if the performances haven't been, the results certainly have. Can you feel that things beginning to turn in your favour, and maybe that will give an added inner confidence to the players with so much having gone against them before that?
No, that last thing is definitely true, what you are saying, that so many things have gone against us this season. In terms of performances, I think only the first half against Forest was not of our standards. For all the other games, I think we've played
to our standards, or what is there to expect currently in the Premier League, because it's not like every game is as if we're watching Barcelona 10 or 15 years ago, or watching the Premier League 4 or 5 years ago. It just has changed how entertaining it is because of playing styles. We're well placed now, but 2 weeks ago you didn't ask that question, but you could have asked the question. You're not so well placed, so things can change really fast, depending also who you play yourself, who the other teams play. We're really close together with a few teams, and things can change every single match day because of who you face yourself and who the other team is facing. So we, as all the other teams do as well, focus on our next game, on ourselves, and we know that every game has been difficult for us throughout the whole season, and that's what we expect in the upcoming 10 as well.
Saw the importance of set pieces again in the Premier League over the weekend. There's so much sort of grappling and holding at corners. Does that need to be looked at, or is it impossible to police that?
No, not everywhere you see that holding, but indeed in some games you see that a lot in set pieces. I said after the game we played, I said something about the difference between us and Arsenal, going from 23 goals, including penalties, being down, and us scoring 3. I said probably we will now make the gap a bit smaller. But it was only a 1 goal difference because they scored twice. Yeah, it is the new reality of the Premier League, mainly this season. Last season already a little bit, but mainly this season. And yeah, indeed, in some games you see a lot of fouls being made, and sometimes you also see very nice corner kicks being scored.
It was funny actually, I heard Neil Atkinson, who's a friend of the channel, talking about it's just big fellas running into each other at the moment, and I'm sure you will empathise with that at home as well. Let's look at the positives where this is concerned, and this will be a happier coaching staff at the moment because of the 2 big positives he speaks about at the moment, Arne Slot. One is that the set-piece balance is in credit almost, and they are fit enough to play every 3 days. So with the improvement in the set plays, he's saying a lot of it is actually down to luck. He thinks it's fine margins. Would you go along with that, or do you think there's been an awful lot more scientific approach to perhaps the last couple of months that's seen that improvement on these set plays?
I've not seen anything that suggests it's come straight from the training ground. You do see these, he's talked about it there, lovely set plays where, a man will run out and another one will take a position and then there's a block and then they play it and someone runs in and scores straight from the training ground. It's always said in commentary, isn't it? I don't see Liverpool doing many of them. I think it's the quality of the ball in there, positional play. Maybe you've moved a few players around, maybe you've blocked a few players to give Van Dijk maybe a run or Konate a run, but I do think there's an element of luck. Do you think there's an element of luck to a set piece?
Well, I just don't know where to start, to be honest with you.
You're not a fan of the current approach?
It is a ridiculous situation. I've watched last 3 games. I've watched Man United, Everton, Man United. Ridiculous. I mean,
in what sense?
Free kicks, corners.
Oh, right.
There's about 20 players inside the 6-yard box all round the goalkeeper. You've got absolutely no chance. It's not even as if you're scoring good goals. They're just scrappy, horrible goals. What was the other one? Arsenal recently as well. Last game.
Chelsea.
Arsenal, Chelsea. Exactly the same. Even to a certain extent, our game against West Ham, pretty much the same as well. Any other place on the pitch with the contact that you see in an 18-yard box when it's a corner, any other place on the pitch is a free kick. Now I don't know how you go and solve it. Whether you put a no-go zone, or you can't you can only put maybe 2 players inside the 6-yard box. Nobody can touch the goalkeeper. But it's just become an absolute joke, a farce.
How long do they allow this to go on for? I mean, you hear a lot, don't you? People saying, well, the referee just needs to give a penalty, or there needs to be a directive where all of the referees are told the first time they see it to give a penalty, and then it will stop.
You're talking about the holding?
Yeah, the holding that goes on, the grappling. Or is this something that will be sorted out in the summer where we'll see a completely different phase next year?
It'll be difficult to bring something in now because we've played 3/4 of the season, but it'll certainly be looked at and spoke about, in the meetings with the referees and stuff, and how they can combat that. There's an element I agree with Gary. It is sometimes just pulling and pushing and but There is an element of luck, though. I think if you've got a quality set-piece taker, we've lost one. I don't know whether that suggests why the numbers were down with us. You lose Trent. I think you lose the ability to put a really good ball into an area that is really dangerous.
Jason, you're talking about like Premier League players that are getting paid an absolute fortune, right? You're not telling me that like 10 out of these like players cannot take a corner. You've got to have one specific person to take a corner, delivery into the box. I think that's nonsense. In our era, certainly, I would consider like maybe 5, 6, 7 players that could take a corner and do what they're doing now.
Why do you have a corner taker then? Why do you have a corner taker?
Well, I don't know why. It's ridiculous.
Well, it would be suggested that probably he puts the best ball into the box, no?
Yeah, but like what? Right, you got Declan Rice taking it for Arsenal, right? He's got like Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Gyökeres, who else? He's got like, just put it in an area. If you as a Premier League player cannot hit a ball from a corner flag into the 6-yard box on top of the goalkeeper, then you shouldn't be in the Premier League.
You shouldn't be playing the game. Again, on a positive slant here, let's look at some of the figures where Liverpool are concerned as well, because since the turn of the year, Arne Slot's side are the set-piece leaders. In comparison to where they were at the start of the season. So this is the positive for Liverpool where they are concerned as well. Up to New Year, they were bottom of the set-piece table, only 3 goals. Since the turn of the year, they've scored 9.
I mean, Saturday helped, didn't it? He scored 3. Are you talking set-pieces as in free kicks and...
Corners mainly, isn't it?
Corners mainly, yeah.
Non-penalties.
I mean, I remember like the days when like you as a player and as a team, you would work on set plays and corners.
How often would you spend on set plays?
Well, at Liverpool, not very long to be honest, not very often. We used to play it short all the time.
Friday.
We used to play it short all the time. But like you never see a short corner anymore. Like albeit like there's loads of short corners on. But I mean, look, there's like probably like the majority of the players are actually all inside the 6-yard box. But
this is the portfolio.
You very seldom see something intricate or well thought out kind of move from a set play. All it is just a ball into the box, into the 6-yard box, right on top of the goalkeeper. You've got a 6'5" centre forward or 6'5" centre half. Muscling about, you got the like smallest man in like on the park, maybe like blocking like the tallest, like, and then it's just like it's a melee.
You see Virgil's goal here at the weekend. You can't actually see the number on his shirt. It's that tight a grip that the defender's got on it. One interesting thing plenty of interesting things he come up with in the press conference. But Arne Slot is saying now, and I noticed this because my lad plays. He's 13. There was a set play not too dissimilar to what we're seeing in the Premier League now, where straight from the kick-off, you know, the centre forward lumps it into the corner to throw in within 5 seconds of the game.
That's just territorial advantage, isn't it? And getting your players up the place.
But you know, he's saying there that you see an under-16 game now. You will see that probably next week or the week after. That's how big the influence of the Premier League will have on grassroots footy.
But I mean, I said it at the weekend. You know, I'm seeing shades of the 90s, like how we used to play. You know, football does go round in circles. Whoever dominates, you know, it always comes back. But there's a 90s trend. There is a 90s trend into. You don't think there's a trend?
There's
of
no
the
way.
90s
There is no
in this
way.
Season.
There is absolutely no way on God's earth that was part of the 90s football. Like
Which
20 people inside the 6-yard box on top of the goalkeeper and like just ping the ball on top of the goalkeeper.
I would suggest it was because we never worked on set pieces. It just put a quality ball in and trying to pick out Neil Ruddock or Wrighty or someone. That's the same as what you're suggesting.
We'll get the guys in in the gallery to get like any clips on from the 90s when you were playing.
It'll take us a while. Be able to top load the videos.
Yeah. But you don't think our corners are the same as what we're watching now?
Absolutely, 100% no.
Why?
Because there was never like the physical contact like there is now. I mean, Jason, I've been doing this 20 years. I've commentated on a lot of Liverpool games.
The corners from the 90s is as physical or what goes on in the box as what's going on now?
No chance. Absolutely no chance.
They were throwing punches in the 90s.
Well, yeah, you got away with it then.
It won't be long. It won't be long. Listen, if you're not subscribing to us already, look what you can get. I mean, it's almost as physical in the studio. Matchday Live build-up continues here on LFC TV and All Red Video. If you're not a subscriber yet, you'll miss out on all of the action. LiverpoolFC.com/watch for all the details. If you are not a subscriber already, plenty more to come pre-match. Coming up, we're going to hear from Hugo Ekitike as well in that interview from the weekend and what he's expecting tonight in the kick-off. Steve Hunter and Phil Thompson will guide you through all of the action with live audio commentary, just like the radio in the old days. And then we come full-time. Phil Thompson will join us in the studio alongside Jason, hopefully slightly friendlier than the exchanges at the moment. And as ever, the post-match show will also be available for you to listen into if you're on your way to work tomorrow in the reaction. That is the club's official podcast, and you can watch the full game on LFC TV if you're a night owl from midnight tonight. Neil will return with all the key moments from today's game on the Premier League review show. That is on 6 p.m. on Wednesday.
About the traditional Christmas fixtures, but extra special today. The children of Diogo Jota leading Liverpool out against the other side in English football that he served with such distinction. There's a ball that's looking for Ekitike. It picks him out beautifully. Oh, and he's so unfortunate. Frimpong now with a piece of wizardry. Little pullback, Gravenberg, goal! Here goes Ekitike. Lovely ball, Vince! Yes! It's his first Liverpool goal! Brilliant save by the goalkeeper, but it's turned home now. That's a lovely ball, what a good challenge by Conor Bradley. That's a goal-saving challenge. And Liverpool have themselves another game and another win. Wolves show plenty of fight, plenty of spirit, but Liverpool's first half goals were enough.
To the Reds at Anfield just after Christmas. Wolves running as close that day. They tend to go this way against Wolves. We're hoping tonight's encounter is a little less nervy. Reminder of the Liverpool starting 11 for this one as well, and it's the change that probably most of you would have debated with your mates. In that, Jeremy Frimpong comes in at right back, so same centre back, same at left back, and Ekitike carrying that goal threat up front as well. Little bit of experience and youthful exuberance on the bench, as you can see, and Kieran Morrison as well, the player wearing 68 who's been in fine form for the under-21s at the moment, is amongst the squad for Liverpool here at Molineux tonight. So let's cross back over to Rob and to David to get a full rundown of the Wolves starting lineup. Rob.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, the Wolves players have just